Today on the Mayor King channel, are Bezden seruvim letters of contempt from rabbinical courts relevant or not? All the raw facts coming up right now. Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the Mayor King channel, where I give you the information you need about authentic Jewish divorce law and expose the fiction, lies, and deception promulgated by the unlearned, the corrupted rabbis, feminist Jewish organizations, and of course by some women themselves. Recently, in my last video, I was covering the Aguna protest that took place in the village of Kiryas Yoel related to the divorce between Malki and Volvi Berkovich. If you've watched my video, which I will link below, you will hear Flatbush Clown scream that Volvi has 5 seruvim, implying that he's guilty of get refusal. But is that true? Does having a seruv mean that you are guilty of something and gives you permission to humiliate or attack the subject of the seruv? Today, you will learn the truth about a seruv. I have a special guest, Rabbi Friedrich, who will explain to you the inner workings of a Bezden. Rabbi Friedrich is a well-known Toen who has appeared in front of many Bais Din, will enlighten us about the Bezden system. He will be appearing in audio only. Please welcome Rabbi Friedrich. Shalom Aleichem, Rabbi Friedrich. You can introduce yourself.
Hi, Shalom Aleichem. My name is Rabbi Friedrich. And I do this for close to 20 years, about 18. And very close in the community about this. I did it on a very quiet for many years until recently. Some people make me popular. I didn't advertise anywhere.
Okay. Can you begin, Rabbi Friedrich, by explaining to us what is the definition of a true aguna?
Okay, a true aguna, aguna, which is basically a woman whose husband disappeared. She's looking for him. She wants to live with him, and she don't know his whereabouts. That's an aguna, what the Torah is describing, not what the not real describe, how they describe and they label the woman today who run away from their husband. They're doing the opposite, or they throw their husband out with all kind of means like an order of protection, or scare him off or they're going to file an order of protection. They run him away, and then they claim they need a get in their aguna. That's not an aguna. That's considered, according to the Shulchan Aruch, in all the Rishonim, even even a husband that you're allowed to force for a get, which it happens in very rare and limited places, they've been called moredas, not an aguna. It's nowhere to be mentioned.
So why, Rabbi Friedrich, why do women label themselves an aguna as soon as the husband refuses to give them a get? What's that all about?
First of all, let me tell you one point. There is no such a thing, somebody's a get refuser. It's a new made-up word. There is something called that a woman can be forced into a get, but we don't do it these days because of the Chayrim Rabbani Gershon, especially that's Canadian Gittin. And I get refused it, and an aguna is to break the spirit of the husband to not be labeled such. That's why, you're going to be a get refuser. You need to give a get right away. And a lot of times they don't even know their rights, and they give a get.
Right. I find it very strange that according to the Torah, we all know that a man could force a woman, he could divorce a woman forcibly by giving her a get. Comes Rabbeinu Gershom, Rabbeinu Gershom says, no, you have to get the woman's consent to accept the get. But today, the feminist movement wants to reverse it and make it forcible on the man. Don't you find that very unusual?
Yes, and it's the entire halacha. It's twisted upside down, and in the pronunciation of so many halachic and chuvas from Rishonim, everybody's twisting and making it like a pretzel, twisting parts, take it from here, put it here, and they take the Rambam and they twist it. They leave entire sections of the Rambam out, and they just take one day like a tunnel vision, only that, and everything else don't matter.
Correct. Can you describe why the Bais Din today are not interested in making shalom bayis?
There is a lot of answers to that. I cannot say one particular answer which drove into this, but over the years, I came to one conclusion. They rule by their emotions, not by halacha, because if you rule by halacha, everything will be like in the past, that a woman barely demanded a get. A woman who ran away from her husband after a couple of days, nobody helped her. After a couple of days, she came home. And only if it was a rich family and hold it on a little bit longer. But by the end, nobody went against the halacha. They came home and they had shalom bayis after that. But in the modern world, and they got so, I don't know if you want to call it traumatized, institutionalized, or with this council liberal agenda movement. I don't know exactly what it is, but I can pinpoint that they're going to lose business if they want to have business. You know, Dinesh is a big multi-million-dollar business in the business industry.
In your opinion, Rabbi Friedrich, how have Jewish marriages changed over the years? Describe us what it used to be, what it is today.
Let me introduce what a Jewish marriage is. Everybody understands we don't get married because of that people really let's call it like the Rambam pronounced it according to the Shemishas. We get married because there is an halacha of Repeal. It's only for the man to makan the mitzvah of Repeal. We don't get married l'shem issues or for any other reason. So now, a marriage cannot be broken only with a get, which is she gets mittelishik. He gives it the right look. Shilach mebaiser, like the Torah said. She got given the get to her hand and she gets sent away. And it used to be a last resort if you're looking in all the even the Chronim, the Chuvas like the Noit B'Yidach, and so forth. It's a last resort. We need to try everything to save a marriage. And and the word shulam is like destructive. And everybody knows when we go to a chasana, everybody said kesha shel kayoma. I will say these days, we say, as long as the woman wants. Why we need to spend so much money for this mitzvah of Repeal, all this bruches, the sheva bruches, that so much money involved, when the woman can decide how much she wants to get, and the husband has no say into it. I don't want to. I want to try to work it out. It's nonsense. We get married to Repeal, and it's the first mitzvah in the Torah, and we need to build families, to build Hashem's world. And simple, just as it is. Nothing for no other reason. And now, to make a get when the woman decides she wants to end it because she wants another man, or he was thinking something more of him and she sees less in him, that's what the Shefer gave her. She should be, grateful.
Right. Recently you heard of a case, and there's a lot of publicity about a Hasidic couple in Monroe called Malki and Volvi Berkovich. and they're going through a very nasty public divorce. How do you explain that even in the Hasidic community, we see this stuff going on? What's happened?
And let me correct you, Rick. It's not nasty on both ends. It's nasty on one side, on the woman's side. She don't get what she wants. She make it nasty. That it should not dear her husband to think that they ever go back. And she needs to fight with her brain. We're not going back. And every time I spoke to her, I'm not the Toen actually no more. I was the original Toen to represent them at Bezden back in 2020 of October, I believe, was Tufshian Pi Aleph was, and the separation, I believe, happened right in the middle of COVID. I called it the Bezden. Of course, I was representing Voldy, and she refused to come. And now she claims that, oh, he don't want to come to Bezden, and Asira. This is all not true. We gave them every single time a Bezden to come. They didn't want to come to our Bezden, and all this Butadinim, they just came up with seruv without, maybe they knew about it, maybe they didn't know about it. I don't know exactly if there is even seruv. I'm not even sure. Maybe they just made up. You pay a Bezden a couple of $100, give me a seruv and goodbye, and they make one phone call.
Right.
It's not going through the proper channels. Probably the Berkowitz family don't want to get themselves into what they was true, was not true. Come to Bezden, we're going to take down the seruv. And let me make it clear to your audience. A seruv is not a psak. A seruv is like somebody, till he don't come to Bezden, you have a seruv. You need to, not the psak, not the actual psak, you need to give a get because I have a seruv. These two don't have to each other. There is a seruv that whoever is in the community to make sure a legit seruv, not the ones they made, but a legit seruv. Let's say I call you to Bezden. You don't show up after the proper azmunas I send you, let's say 3 azmunas, like most Butadinim do, and you don't show up, I come up with a seruv. Once you choose a Bezden, and you say, I want to go to this particular Bezden, because you do mitva, there is no more seruv. The seruv is obsolete, only till you come to Bezden.
So why?
Even if 25 years later. Go ahead.
Right, so why is it you find sometimes the man says, I don't want to come to your Bezden, I want to go to another, and then they say you can't go to that when we're going to put a seruv on you. Is that justified when they refusing you to go to a certain Bezden?
That's 100% against the halacha. There is no legitimately what they do. Only to those shkutzim b'tadinim, like I explained to you before, that they want to have the business. Because they wanted to have the business, they decided in the past the woman never come to Bezden. All of a sudden, they realized they don't have too much business in Dina issues, only Dina Mumanas. In Dina Mumanas, you don't have a lot. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. It depends on the season. And now everybody opens. There is a lot of Butadinim. We need to make it for a multi-million-dollar arbitration company, and everybody wants to tab in, and everybody wants to go with the flow. They realize, wait a minute, there is a lot of Gittin. Let's push as much as we can, and as often as we can, and let's force the men to come to Bezden and come up with seruv and assault them and make go to court, and then he's going to choose to come to any of our Bezden. Yeah, today is me, tomorrow is you. They just like talking to each other, and that's the way they want to control.
Are you saying, Rabbi Friedrich, since you know the system very well, that there's kind of like a man's club in the Bezden? They all know each other, and they decide who's part of the club and who's not part of the club, right?
No, I'm not going to say it's like that, but they're going to accept who they want to accept. They don't like each other. They have like inner fighting, which goes on, and I see it all the time. But they try to keep it down low, like, oh, you overstepped the boundaries. Maybe they want to play the game to make, let's say, today is at my Baldin and tomorrow is at your Baldin. We're going to make a game. I'm not sure exactly because I don't want to be involved in the nonsense. Here, this is the Torah issue we're dealing. Everything is about halacha here. And they wanted to make it an elite club, but not like you know what? I will say more like a man's club, only more like an elite club. Let's not call it a man club, like an elite club.
Elite club.
Like the Guggenheim, and like you're involved in our group. Everybody else don't matter to us.
what is the justification, if there is any justification, to use harassment tactics
There is none.
in forcing a get?
There is none. There is none. Not in these days, because what the Gemara says, those 5 men, the Gemara exhibits those 5 men that you can force to give a get, it's literally obsolete these days, because you can treat all this kind of sickness and all this kind of stuff. It's barely, like, I'm thinking all over the 5. You go to a doctor, you treat it. Nothing is, it's not happening these days.
So what you're saying is that 5 categories that you could force a get are written explicitly in the Mishnah Ksubas, and we don't even see them today. So there's no justification to use forcible tactics as we see a lot of Bezdins are using. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. Like if somebody takes out the Shulchan Aruch and Kapitel 1 and Siv Kuten Bais, there is maybe one Musalai only lo the Rambam, but all the Rishonim are against him.
Correct.
And I think that the Rambam and the Rashba, if I remember, maybe one more, but they're all against him. We don't take haluchas from Amir.
Right. Right. It goes by the majority. Is it correct for me to say that I believe the reason why the Bezdins are applying force today is because since 99% of the cases the man is justified in not giving a get if he doesn't want to, they would be out of business tomorrow if they wouldn't apply force, because no woman would come to them. Does that make sense?
Yes, let's put it in, I will clarify what you said. It's more like the man, 90% Gittin would not happen in the past. 90% Gittin would have shulem bayis, and they will finish their lives living together, and they will have beautiful children and grandchildren, great-grandchildren. They just, as you walk into Bezden, you turn the knob walking into Bezden, they already, spied around what's going on there from all kind of ways. What's going on there? We're like, oh my God, what we can do. They make you feel sad, and they want to feel with you, and they want to make you feel we're going to try to do the best we can to bring it back. And then they're going to say, once you sign the Shtur B'Din, they're going to see their faces completely, slowly change. The first session and the second session, what can we do? We tried everything. We spoke there. You saw it. And he thinks, Nebuch, it's only my problem. And he didn't know this is a game by every single case. Instead of telling for the woman, you need to give him a chance for Shulam Bayis. You don't have legitimately claims. This language you don't hear anymore. Even there is 2, 3, 4, and even the Hasidic community with 9 kids. It's Hashem Yishmoraini. It's like 9 karbunas on the Mizbeach. These children are done for life, most of them.
Tell me about methods of extortion that have you seen that Bezdins apply to receive a get? What are the methods they've used?
Lately, all barriers are broken. There is nothing hold. You can leaflets. Everything is literally broken on all social media, going to court with trucks on the road, with mics, with protests, with, all the derech women coming to Monroe in front of the yeshivas, and they are running Yiddishkeit from Moshe Rabbeinu for his Torah. It's just laughable if somebody believes that. If somebody thinks this Rabbunim, this Eilach Rabbunim with the nice Hadras Punim, with the big packages and the struckers are standing on the same platform as this of the Derech woman, it's like a laughter.
Right.
It's like, what do we come to?
Correct. Have you ever heard of anybody trying murder, chas v'shalom, to get a get?
Yes, there is. Look, and they got arrested, Epstein, and some of them in community. I don't want to mention names. The FBI, they got arrested. There was a lot of people in jail. The FBI was involved. A nice couple of Buddha went down for this. I don't want to mention the names. I don't know the details, everything too much, and I don't want to, it's still, it's a very black flag of the Heimish community here in New York.
Right. So what type of guidance, Rabbi Friedrich, can you offer a new couple that's just starting the divorce? How do you guide them to go through this in the most halachic way and menschlich way? What would you recommend?
I don't know. First, let's go to the woman's side because it's different messages to man
Okay.
and to the woman. For the woman, I wanted to say, you're never going to find happiness. If you're not happy with this man, you're never going to find happiness. Don't lose the first man you have in life because you're never going to feel satisfaction. The Gemara says it in a couple places. Okay? That's the bottom line. For the man, I wanted to say, if you see trouble coming down the road before the separation, I'm talking now. I wrote a book. I started writing a book. I didn't continue it, but because I got so busy, I started many years ago, way before COVID. I made it in 3 different main rules. The first number rule, keep your mouth shut. You don't have to win every argument. When you lose, you win. What does that mean? You have your wife. Okay? You may lose the argument today. She has the right of way. She thinks she has the right of way. So let it go. You don't have to answer all the time. You don't have to win every argument. The second rule, don't expect anything. Do everything for yourself. When you come home, you don't find dinner on the table, don't leash out. Just clean up, start cooking yourself. She's going to see you do that for a while.
You know, it's funny you mention that because I once saw a sign in somebody's office. It read like this: rule number 1, the wife is always right. Rule number 2, if your wife is ever wrong, refer to rule number 1. Right? Yeah.
Okay, let me finish. Basically what I'm saying, stop doing everything for yourself.
Right.
You will see your wife will come around and she's going to feel, ashamed of herself. She's not participating in the marriage. And everything you can to keep your house in order, which is starting parnasa. I'm not saying illegal stuff. I'm saying find a better job. Do whatever you can. Don't give up. There is no giving up in life. Giving up is death. That's what I tell everybody. You need to keep fighting. We come on this planet. We need to keep trying to get Panus a better job. Do everything you can legally. Don't rob banks. I'm not telling anybody to go rob banks. I'm telling go work legal. Live in your means. Don't spend more than you have. Like genetic rules. And ask your wife nicely if she can also participate and find a job and help out. And together you pay your bills and whatever is left, save. That's it. If you do all these 3 things, you most likely have shulam bayis. This is before you get separated. After you separated, I'm middle of writing that. I don't have particularly. I will say if you do find yourself in court, chas v'shulam, or to somebody else, also do call me. I can advise you what to go. No matter what state in the U.S. you live, I've been involved in most states where you even lived. I was involved in Massachusetts. I was involved in Detroit, in Michigan, Detroit, in Cleveland. I was involved in Florida, in California, in a lot of states, even in Texas lately. Texas, which has pretty good laws, and in Florida also not so bad. But New York State is the worst. You have a get law in New York State,
Right.
which is fully unconstitutional. We need to speak maybe in the future about that, how to counter that. We can make New York State to throw out this law, and if everybody writes to their representatives and to their state senator to Albany, New York, we can ask them to repeal the law because it's unconstitutional.
You mean because it produces a get ma'usa, which is not a kosher get? That's what you mean to say?
Yeah, basically, like Stetner said, a very good halacha, and every time I think about it, and it's make more sense. When somebody knows in his heart it's apostle a get, he's really not allowed to give that. Because if his wife get married on that get, he makes a mixel on the other Jew, which is basically lo sit and ifra mixel, according to everybody. You will be punished as well.
Right.
If he has chorus living with your wife, you caused it. You're not allowed even to give that. And that's a good argument. I need to set up maybe one day to put it public, even set it up, and everybody should send it. And once they get 1,000 letters like that, they're going to think twice. And they may repeal it in Albany, this get law.
Right.
It's not, it's literally a gazeta for many years. I think they did the first get law was passed in 1980.
But let me ask you, you mentioned Rabbi Gestetner. Why is it, in your opinion, since you've already showed up in many Bais Dinim, that Rabbi Gestetner's Bezden and Rabbi Zeidenfeld, they get a lot of criticism from other Bezdins? They say they're not reliable. No, where does that come from? Why are they doing that to them?
Rabbi Gestetner saw the last dar, which is Poporov, the tactic of a roof, which is the Ehrlich Rabunam. The Poporov was living in Williamsburg, over Shulam, and the tactic cover was living in Bar Park. He has a very prominent Bezden. But I'm not talking the tactic of today, and not Machoin Leroux, which is the tactic of the son. I'm not talking, but I'm talking their father, which is they have a very respected Bezden, and I think even the Baruch Moshe was involved with them, and a lot of Ventoiras. But basically, he saw the change from them, what happens now. And it's falling literally. The Lucha is, the Torah Deutsche is put in a shredder, let's put it this way. Nobody cares. Everything is about feelings. And that's why, and Rav Gestetner is like Yermi Anovi for the Reini. It's literally his awareness, what's going on here. We're going against the Lucha, and people didn't listen to Yermianov. And everybody knows the outcome. The first Bais Hamikdash and Malchis and Malcha Yehida was destroyed.
Right. Okay, Rabbi Friedrich. So, any last thoughts you want to impart on my viewers on what they have to be careful about when confronted with a hazmana of Bezden? What are your opinion? What are your advice?
Okay, I always say Hashem is not going bankrupt. There is still a lot of Ehrlich Yidden on the world.
Okay.
And if somebody needs an advice, I know very little of them, which is going to follow the Lucha. There is a couple, not just the Stetner and Rav Zeidenfeld. Rav Zeidenfeld opened a Bezden only 3 years ago when he saw that what's going on, and especially they banned me from some Butadinum for no good reason. And he decided to open his own Bezden, and they called me up one day. I opened a Bezden, and whenever I want, I can come. I said, no problem. And Gestetner is getting older. He's doing very little in Toiras. He's doing, but very little. He's pushing everybody to us because we don't do it. Not me, we. It's basically Gestetner never did it for money. And the same as Rav Zeidenfeld also don't do it for money. He's only charging the little cost he has to have the Bezden open. And he's doing, I believe, a flat fee, no matter how many sessions he needs to be. And that's basically it. And there is some others here and there. But because we don't do it for money, you don't hear about them. And they're not interested to do. They always speak to the site and they make shulam before they come to bed.
Yeah, but do you find
a lot of time? Go ahead.
Do you find anything that they speak lashon hara about Rabbi Gestetner as being true? They say he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's this, he's that. Do you find that to be true, or just the opposite? They're the ones that are corrupted. The ones that are.
That's true. You see it even in politics today. It's all the time. When the other guys, when the other guy don't have an answer, the only thing you say is stosen. With what? You always ask with what. Told me you go to the Stetten's Marmakoimas and you find it there. He's exactly whatever he says. He has Marmakoimas. He's not saying anything is not written from the Rishonim or from the Kadmonim.
Right, right. And you make a very good point. Somebody who doesn't charge for his services is more likely to be the more honest one, and one that does charge. More likely, right.
Okay, and at the seruv, you have one more problem, not just charging. You don't have a government pushing an agenda. Arabanut is corrupt.
Very corrupt.
Because the government of seruv is pushing an agenda.
Yeah, they are employees of the Zionist government. So therefore, the government pushes on them their agenda. They cannot make a good psak, right? They cannot render a good qualified psak.
Yeah, that's correct. They need to do what the government says. They need to twist the Torah Kedusha like a pretzel to satisfy the government.
Correct. Yeah.
They give a woman's rights over man's rights over whatever.
Right.
To make it all. Let me clarify for you, audience. The Torah Kedusha didn't make a get about the woman's rights or man's rights or anything like that. It's the Torah Kedusha exists way before the Zionist laws existed, way before the New York State or anything existed. The Torah Kedusha give a get, and it's solely for the man. That's it. The man has the right to give the get, and that's it. And if it has to be with his will. The Torah Kedusha is not speaking to the woman. The Torah Kedusha speaks only to the man. It don't say. I always tell other people why the Torah Kedusha didn't give a right for a woman also to ask for a get. It don't say that. It says only the man. If he don't like it, and the mutzerves do it.
Right. That's correct. Right, today, unfortunately, we have something called get on demand, that women think that as soon as they demand a get, they're entitled to it.
Yeah, they advertise like that. They think if you don't give a get the second the woman is asking for it, you're a get refuser.
Correct.
You have a label on yourself. A man is so afraid of it. I don't know why. Don't be afraid of it.
Right.
You don't have to surrender your rights. Because it's not a get, it's something else. I don't know what it is. It's a forceful whatever divorce. It's not a get. A get has to be exactly what the Lucha tells you you're allowed to do.
Right. Well, Rabbi Friedrich, it was a pleasure having you as a guest speaker here today. Can I put your email and your phone number on the bottom of my video, so if anybody has questions, they can reach you? Can I do that?
Yes, you can do that. Not my private number. They can email me if anybody has questions. I'll try to get as much as I can.
Very well then. Thank you so much for joining us, okay?
No problem.
Take care. There you have it, folks. As Rabbi Friedrich stated, there are too few Bezdins that operate by authentic Torah and halacha, and therefore, if you get involved with the wrong Bezdin, you will truly be in a pickle, or perhaps twisted into a pretzel. Therefore, I recommend you stay far away from them and only handle the divorce in a mediation form if your spouse will go along with it. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell if you haven't done so, because coming up is an eye-opener video you don't want to miss, where I have new information about the Volvi and Malky Berkovich case that will paint a totally different picture than what Flatbush Clown has been saying to you. Thanks all for watching, and see you all in my next video.